Almost ready for the first bounce here at Centenary Oval. First semi-final, South v Boston's. Very warm day here, very trying conditions. Umpire Morfitt here, motioning towards some spectators inside the arena. And he's going to put the ball down for the first bounce of the day. Up they go. Haynes wins the first tap for Boston's, but Karatzivalis the first chance off hands. Can't gather it. Bryant through strongly. He's tagged. No free kick ensuing. Umpire Morfitt decides that the bounce down is necessary here. Right on the edge of the centre square. Up they go. Foster the tap this time, but out to nobody. Mullen the opportunity for Boston's. He wheels around the pack. No pressure there from South. Looking for Big Pont, and he's caught Chloe Hesse well out of position there. And a classic 35-metre penalty there by umpire Morfitt, and I think the Adelaide umpires cut that one a little bit short, Gary. I hope that's...
Yes, you did right there, Peter. No worries about that. The kick from Pont is right up into the goal square. Up goes Fowler. Spoilt down to Ween, on to Loxton. Loxton down to the centre of the ground. In the way is Bruce Sutherland, the ever-reliable half-back, full-back for Boston's. He steadies at the centre square, looks wide, looking for Pont once again. Over the top comes the ruckman in Foster, spoils down to Earl, out wide, Feltus in pursuit now. Ball brought back into play. Over the ball is Harris, tackled heavily. Miller, the handball to Feltus, steadies the game, looks upfield. House, spoilt beautifully by Sutherland. The ball comes to deck. Karatzivalis slipping. Mullins over to Pont. Pont with the handball to Bryant. Bryant steadies, has the shot, and it looks good from this point. And that's the first score of the game, with Ian Bryant, the Boston centreman, kicking that first goal. And Boston's go to 1 goal, leading South yet to score.
Yes, well, there's good flow on play there by Boston's. A good bit of handball, and they had the running players there to set that play up. I was a little bit disappointed in the defence of Feltus there in the back pocket when he had the opportunity, I think, to take the ball over the boundary line, but elected to tap it back into play. Back to the centre bounce, and over to you, Gaz.
From the centre bounce, Haynes out wide to Hughes, tapped on by Foster, onto Harry Miller. Miller steadies, goes around the player in Mullins, kicking up towards Sturgis. Sturgis takes the mark about 45 metres out in the forward pocket. He's on his natural left foot.
Right on the boundary line, though.
Right on the boundary line, yes. But swinging in towards the goal. It's a good kick. Right in there. A good spoil from behind, and it's tapped through for a point. And this is going to develop into a top-class game today, Peter. I'm sure of that. Both sides are very keen and desperate, and there's some very, very talented footballers out there. And it's going to be a classic. Montgomery from the kick-out. Foster in front, sport by Haynes, down to Clark. Clark the handball to Karatzivalis, well picked up. The little chip shot was too wide into the forward pocket and out of bounds, and a boundary throw-in will result from the left forward pocket for South.
Shocking kick by Karatzivalis. He gets ball to boot many times during every game of football he plays, but just can't kick it properly. There's the throw-in in the pocket. Haynes beautifully down to Mullen, I think it is. Yes. Chipped it away to Bryant. He's under pressure from Harry Miller. Ball's down the ground, and Miller gets it. He'll just about have a shot here, I think. He's got it in the air. It's a nice-looking kick, but no, offline, and 1 point resulting only for South. Well, the game started at a pretty good pace, and by gee, they're going to feel it at the end of the day, Gaz, because it's a really hot day here for this time of the year.
You did right, Peter, yes. Harry Miller back to his top form again. He's quick on the ground.
They'll need all of... I think it's going to be the battle of the fittest side here before this day's out. Anyway, this one's Tom King here in defence for Boston. It's a good handball over the pack. That's early opportunity. He's overrun it. Foster there for South. King in there again. And is penalised Foster for holding the ball. A little bit tough on Foster, I thought. But here comes King, right up along the wing. Looking for Pont. But here's Chloe Hesse, a short centre half back, this fella, but obviously a class player. But once again, South seem to be falling down here, looking for the centre half forward, and it's Sutherland, a very strong player, relieving for Boston's. Fine kick up to centre half forward, and a big...
Over the top, Wilson.
Wilson.
Yes, Darren Wilson, young Darren Wilson.
Darren Wilson, yes, a good mark there by Wilson. He's put it forward, a penetrating kick there. Feltus in there in defence, but Loxton takes the ball off the pack, chips away short to young Michael Williams. He's around the pack nicely. Penetrates beautifully to the centre of the ground, but Kim Clark can't hold that one. Here's Watherston, chips away in front of Earl. He's easily around his opponent. Onto his right leg, up to centre half forward. Weens behind his particular forward there. No one able to get possession. Gratzavalis' hand pass is uncharacteristic for him, but it comes out to Pont. Mullen over to Pont, and here's Fowler it is under the fall of the ball. He's read it, judged that high kick in better than anybody else. Plays on quickly. Has a quick shot at goal, and Gary, I just don't think he took that one steadily enough. He didn't set himself for that shot, and that's cost Boston's a goal, I feel.
Yes, you're right, Peter, there. Unfortunately, Michael's been a very, very good footballer for the club. Unfortunately, he has been over the years found a little bit wanting in finals games, and he put himself under pressure then. The kick out by Smaller Combe, right to the centre of the ground, to Kim Clark, who's a real prime motivator for South. He's going to be a real danger player to Boston's today. The long kick right over the half-forward line, House underneath it, and Sutherland, and he's got it. House has taken the mark. He's about 50 metres out from goal, directly in front. And Brad House, as we know, is a very, very good footballer. And he will give this every shot from here, from about 50 metres out, steadying the game and having a good look at the goals, which is what it's about when you're kicking for goal. And a shocker, straight off the side of the boot, and it's out on the full. And the resulting kick-in will be taken by Tom King for Boston's in the back pocket. The kick in from King finds David Raleigh backwards of the half-back flank. He's steadying. Have a look around. The big kick looking for Joe Haynes and Sutherland. Sutherland over the top, spoils House. Comes to ground. Out wide to Sturgis. Smart to Sturgis. And a good kick and one drop by O'Gorman there. A scramble around in that the area between centre half forward and full forward, and a ball up will take place. No, I believe there's been a free given.
Well, I'm very surprised at that. I thought it was bad play by O'Gorman. He had every opportunity to hold that one on the chest. It was a beautiful daisy cutter pass from Sturgis, but somehow or other we didn't quite pick that one up. But Sturgis the free kick, and he's threaded it straight through the middle. South needed that one to keep in touch, and that's their first goal. They are now 1-2, leading Boston's now 1-1.
It's going to be a very, very tight encounter all day, Peter, I'm sure of that. You know, both sides are very physically fit, and they've got very hard contestants of the ball. Both sides have. You've got the couple of prime motivators, and it's going to be a very good game.
Back at centre bounce now. The bounce favours Haynes. Beautifully back to McLaughlin. Over the top of the pack to Bryant. He tries to tap it on again, but O'Gorman intercepts. Off hands off the pack again. Pont beautifully out to Earl. He threads the ball beautifully, but they're forwards behind their men on this occasion, and Smallacombe marks in front of Shrapel. Out goes the kick, looking for Kimrow. He drops one. He normally doesn't drop them, but a beautiful hand pass over the pack to the running Miller. There's a Boston player put down by Loxton. A free kick behind the play to McLaughlin. Didn't quite catch that one myself, but obviously the Shepherd was a bit strong. Here's Haynes off the pack, a handball on, but Loxton again. A pressured hand pass is ineffective. It gives Boston's the opportunity. Young Raleigh's in there. The tackle put on by that South player, and I thought that free was going to South, Gary, but the too high has gone to Raleigh for Boston's, and this breeze is not blowing straight down the ground as it was initially, and I think this lad should be able to kick this one. What do you feel?
Yes, for sure, Peter. He's a very good kick for goal, and he won't make no mistake, I'm sure of that, and he makes a liar of me straight away and puts in a shocker. Now, normally Wayne Raleigh is a very, very effective kick for goal. He's a very good forward, and he's only a lad, and he's maturing very, very well, and he's going to be a very top-class footballer. The kick out from Smaller Combe is a boomer right to the centre of the ground once again, and a good mark taken by Kim Clark at the centre of the ground there.
I thought Ian Bryan had a bit of a share of that one.
Yeah, I think it was fair enough paid, but the ball goes to the half-forward line, out to McLaughlin. McLaughlin the handball to Sutherland, puts him under some pressure. Sutherland steadies, and a little chip shot to Bilney. The wide handball to Tom King. A long handball up to Pont, overruns the ball. Players come back over top of it, and Chloe Hesse the free with the ball underneath. No, Wilson takes the free. Williams takes the free into Smart, Greg Smart. just forward of the centre wing. He'll look deep, obviously, with this breeze. It's only a slight breeze, but he's looked for power. And in the way is Nugget Bilney in the front spot. Takes a resulting mark. The kick wide, looking for Ray Watherson, the skipper. Takes that mark, and he will steady the game and have a look around. Goes deep to the centre wing position, looking for Earl. Off hands by Greg Smart and Earl, and and a boundary throw will result on the centre wing for Davis. Rowe caught with it. Bryant over top, around the pack, smothered off the boot, going to centre half back. Play on is the call. Clohessy towards the centre of the ground. A penetrating kick once again. Possum Davis in front of Smart. The handball from Clark to Miller. Miller will give it a drive from here, and he's missed offline, through for one behind.
Gaz, I think nerves seem to be playing a bit of a part here early. There's shots for goal going begging here. Both sides missing, goals that I'm sure they'd normally get. Just like to make the comment here, I see Possum Davies on his interchange straight into the ruck. I think he's made more comebacks in football than you, Gaz. How do you think about that?
Yeah, well...
No comment?
No comment at all.
Here's an opportunity for House. The left-legger kick around the body, gives Power the opportunity. He goes for the big one, but can't hold it. Pressure there from Montgomery, and another point resulting there to South.
Actually, talking about Poss there, Peter, he's a little bit bigger than me, and he's not quite as old, but he's been a useful player since he's made his comeback. In the front spot there he was, and was spoilt from behind. The tap on by Tom King. Down to ground it goes. O'Gorman over top. Kim Clark. Out to O'Gorman again. The handball wide to Foster. Foster looks for that centre spot in. Harry Miller makes the ground. Plays on foolishly, actually. He was 15, 20 metres out in front. Recovers the ball. Handball's wide to the pocket. And the free kick will go to the South player. I can't pick him up, Peter, for in the back. Number 18 in Brad House from that right forward pocket area.
I just wonder if the umpire called play on there, Gaz. I just can't imagine why else Harry Miller would have played on in a situation like that.
Yeah, possibly so, Peter, yes.
I think we'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt. But anyway, we watch House now with the opportunity. Normally a pretty reliable footballer, and I see Power clapping that one as if it looked as if it was going to go through, but it's hit the post. Bad luck there for House.
Yeah, Poss Davis done that a couple of years ago too in the grand final. He reckons it was all right too, and Padsy was obviously doing the same thing, trying to convince the goal umpire that it was a goal, but it hit the post.
Here's the short pass from Montgomery. It lands in front of Watherston, but he's good enough to get possession. Over to Hughes, but the pressure's on there from Kim Clark. Hughes has got the backup though. The handball goes across. Pressure again from Power. That player dragged to the ground, and Montgomery it was, but no free kick ensuing there, and umpire Morfitt decides to bounce once again. Well, what do you think about the breeze, Gary? Is it really favouring that Flinders Theatre end? It's probably marginally, I'd think, wouldn't you, still?
Well, looking at that flag over there, Peter, I'd say.
Sturgis again, the quick kick, but I think it was half smothered off the boot, and it's gone out of bounds for another throw-in, this time in the deep forward left pocket.
Yes, a lot of the play, Souths have had the percentage of the play, but they haven't used it well. And as you said, Peter, a lot of the play is coming undone, and I believe that is a lot of nervousness, and they're not shepherding, they're not using the teamwork as it should, up to the centre wing anyway. Foster over the ball, the handball to, who was Moose. The long kick right into full forward. Power from behind. Down to Squeak Leshen. He'll steady. Have a look wide. She's a 4-on-1 competition here. McLaughlin in the middle of the thing. Williams in possession now. Tries to swing the ball back to centre, but a very, very poor kick, and it's out on the full. And the side that can settle down quickest and use the ball effectively will be the side that will get up and win this. Davis down to McLaughlin. The handball smothered. Picked up by Sturgis. The left foot kick right into the goal square. Offline once again. And through for South. 6 points. They go to 1 goal 6. Leading Boston's 1 goal 2. It's a very, very slight advantage with this breeze, but I don't think it's very much at all to worry about.
Well, Souths are definitely flittering away chances here with 1 goal 6 on the board. I think they'll be, could well rue the outcome of a lot of their early kicking this first quarter later in the game. There's Rowe marking the kick out, a beautiful kick by Rowe. right into the goal square, power underneath the ball, but Montgomery at full back was able to get a hand to it to prevent the goal going through, and another point resulting to South.
The atmosphere here from supporters is not very strong.
No, there's not much good football to enthuse about, but did you see that poor kick out there by Montgomery, Gaz? It's taken on the chest by House, and a 15-metre free kick ensuing immediately. And this has brought House only about 25 metres out straight in front. Surely he won't miss this one.
Very poor kick, and he couldn't miss it from there. Surely, Peter, he settles down over the ball, and the ensuing kick straight through the centre of the ground, centre of the goals, and South go to 2-7, leading Boston's 1-2. It's a interesting situation, Peter, as I see it. The interchange effective now. Mullins on, McLaughlin off, Davis off, and Haynes on. From the centre bounce, Sturgis one down to Karatsavalis, who was still on it. Well played, Karatsavalis. Taps the ball clear. Shepherded well by Miller. A good kick right to the goal square. Power from behind. Spoilt by Montgomery, and then finally tapped through by King, and a resulting point once again. These sides have got to settle down and get back into the game. A good kick there, a very good kick. Good lead by Bryant. Bryant wide to Earl on the wing. Earl tries to go a little bit quick, lost his balance, back now, steadying. He'll look for Pont. I think Pont's going to be caught under it. A good spoil from Clohissy from behind. Tapped on by Haynes. Down to Harris. Not in control. Play on is the call, and then unfortunately gives the free away. The advantage free called there. Rowe down to Duncan. Duncan one grab. Couldn't bring it down, but controlled it on the ground. The ball is picked up by Wotherston. Wotherston wide to Bilney. Bilney the kick towards Pont. Pont over the top, but in front is Kim Clark, I believe. No, he won't. Pont will be paid the mark. He goes over the half-forward line, looking for Harris and Wilson. Wilson the leap, a good spoil by Moose. Brought to ground by Harris. Mullins in possession. The wide handball, searching for Pont. Pont steadies. A little chip shot over for Earl. Could not control it. Met by Sturgis. Well tackled by Earl, and the ball will be taken over the boundary line on the half-forward right flank for Boston's.
Well, South's lucky to recover there in defence. I thought it was bad work. Sturgis is the big ruckman, and he let Kim Clark fight for that ball against Pont, who would be about 18 inches taller than Kim Clark, and that was bad football. Here we see Boston's taking possession of the ball, and a fine chip pass there by Haynes has found the very tall player at centre half forward in Pont. Now, I don't know whether he can kick this, Gaz. He's about 50 metres out, and that breeze, he's kicking into what breeze there is. He hasn't got it away terribly well. A big fly there by Harris it was. Fowler the opportunity to hook around the body, but that kick smothered off the boot and out of bounds. Deep in the forward left pocket for Boston's, and that's where most of the crowd is congregating, and at last we can hear the crowd responding a little bit to the situation. Sturgis off the back of the pack, fine handball away to Rowe. Rowe onto the left leg. It's a beautiful pass to Kim Clark in the centre of the ground. 15 metres ensuing straight away against Sutherland for the high tackle after the mark was taken. And Kim Clark, I think, is just the fella to take full advantage of that. There goes the pass. It's a beautiful pass to the leading Foster, and this is good football by South. I think Foster should be able to just about kick this one. He's about 45 metres out. He didn't hold the ball well, but he's kicked it straight. Not deep enough, I wouldn't think. Power juggling the ball with Montgomery. No one able to get possession. And a point has been awarded to South there by the goal umpire. Thought Power just about held that one, but not quite. Bad luck there for Power. He's a beautiful overhead mark, and South would be looking for him to hold a few of those. Nice kick there by Montgomery, right out to the half-back line. Knocked on there by Greg Smart. Gives Brad House the opportunity. He back turns beautifully onto the left leg, but he's hooked it too far. And that one's out of bounds on the full.
South seem to have obviously settled down the better there, Peter. They're starting to play a little bit of systematic football, and Boston's yet to settle down, but obviously South's wasting opportunities too at this stage. A bad kick by Bryant, picked up by Peter Hughes, the handball forward, very effective player. Rally, great handball onto Haynes. Haynes looking for the leading player in Rally. over top Loxton. Loxton to Moose. Moose deep, picked up by Ween. Ween, the left footer, smothered by Earl. Recovers it well. Handball's deep. Finds Mullins. Mullins on the left boot. In the lead for the ball is Harris. Harris spins left, then right. The left foot kick right towards the boundary line and just falls inside the boundary line in the left-hand forward pocket for Boston's. At this stage, South are settling down the much better. They're looking a very confident side. Boston's yet to settle down, and when they do, we're going to see a fine game for sure. The boundary showing Fowler up deep, grabs it, picked up by O'Gorman. Gorman to the half-back line. In front is Pont, takes the easiest of marks. He's about 60 metres out. He'll look for the leading player in Shrapple or Fowler. None ensuing. A nice kick by Pont and a good mark by Smallacombe in the front spot. Played well so far, Smallacombe. Plays on quickly. The handball to O'Gorman is not good, but O'Gorman gets away with it with the back turn. Looks for the centre of the ground in Kim Clark, and a good mark and a good kick. The handball is magnificent to Harry Miller. Harry Miller drives deep looking for Foster and finds that player about 20 metres out on the slightest of angles. Should kick this, Peter.
Well, he should, Gaz. He was a little bit further out last time and didn't make the distance, but he's got to make the distance this time. Let's hope, for his sake, that he can kick it straight. He was straight enough last time, but as I say, couldn't make the distance. Now this, oh good heavens, it's misfortune again for Foster, unfortunately. Off the side of the boot slightly and has hit the post smack on. And as I say, we look at South now, 2 goals 10 to Boston's 1 goal 2, and they're really going to rue the fact that they haven't been able to thread that ball through the middle towards the end of the game, I'm sure. Here's Montgomery again, a fine kick on this occasion, deep out to the far flank. Smart up high, so is Haynes. Williams the opportunity on the ground, no one able to get possession. Free kick there, looks like going to Tom King, the back pocket player for Boston's. He gets the ball moving, but the kick smothered off the pack. O'Gorman the opportunity, shrugs the tackle, but mowed down again. Still can't get the kick away. There's King in there, he's playing well. And it looks like a bit of scrimmage behind the play there. Couldn't quite pick up what it was all about. 2 players prostrate on the ground, and just who's been awarded what sort of a free kick. It looks like it might be Williams the free kick, Gaz. Can you pick it up?
Yes, I think that's what happened. I think the free was awarded for shepherding outside. The kick by Williams is not good. In the front spot was House, taken away by Mullen. The deep kick towards centre half forward. Pont over the top and a fine mark over top of Clohessy. He's back quickly. He's looking for the handball. Haynes set him up somewhat. The good handball by Haynes. On to Harris. He evades it. The little chip shot to Wilson, and a fine piece of play by Harris then. He didn't panic. He didn't blaze away at the goals. He just picked out Wilson, and Wilson from about 20 metres directly in front should make no mistake converting this one. And the lad does that. He converts it. Boston's moved to 2 goals 2, trailing South's 2 goals 10. I think both sides are starting to settle down a little bit now, Peter, and we'll see some fine individual clashes here. At this stage, Kim Clark is the best of Ian Bryant at centre, but I'm sure Ian Bryant will fight back and get back into the game. And you've got Sutherland on House. That'll be a fine encounter. Clohessy on Pont. That'll be a fine encounter too.
Back at the centre square, Sturgis and Davies do battle. Davies the honours there, but no one able to get possession. Mullen knocks it forward. Rowe unable to take possession. Earl scragged. Mullen on the opportunity again, but he's under pressure. Kick goes wide to nobody in particular. It only went sideways, that one. Players unable to get their footing properly as it... Wilson again, after kicking that goal, has kicked them forward again. Loxton in front on this occasion with Raleigh it was. Karatsavalis in there too, but there's the kick gone forward for Boston's. Smallacombe playing in front. Shrapel has been awarded that free for interference from behind. Started the game pretty well, Smallacombe. He's done everything right. He didn't go too well against Waybacks last week. I reckon he gave them 5 goals with free kicks, but he started well on this occasion. A beautiful pass there over to Rowe.
He's playing very well, Peter, at this stage.
Yes, well, Rowe came into this game under a cloud. He's got a bad shoulder, and I think he's doing pretty well at this stage. There's the opportunity at the centre for Clark and Miller. But tackle put on that Boston player without possession of the ball, and Nugget Bilney it is to put Boston's into attack once again. I think one of the telling features of this game already, Gaz, is Pont at centre half forward. I think he's the danger man for South. This Clohessy is just too short for him, and yes, we see that in evidence there right now, and Montgomery's just going to have to look at this and do something about this. Clohessy's a fine player, but he's just completely outreached by Pont, and Pont can hold these marks. Fine kick by Pont. Fowler unable to mark. Opposition by Feldis. There's Harris. Back turns beautifully. Has a shot for goal, and he's shredded that.
An incredible goal there, Peter. He's a fine player, Shane Harris. Boston's were fortunate to obtain his services from Tumby Bay. He wanted to come down and have a game here. He wasn't keen to play in the Great Flinders League, and he's a very fine player. He's got all the attributes. He's a team player as well, and that was a fine goal there too. No, you're right, Peter. Pont at centre half forward is too tall and too strong, but then you've got the other encounter at the other centre half forward area where you've got House and Sutherland, and that's at this stage a similar situation. House has had the better there so far. From the centre bounce, out wide to Hughes. He's looking for someone to feed to. Not much talk going on out there. The long kick in towards Wayne Raleigh, and a fine grab by Wayne Raleigh. And Wayne Raleigh would just about make this distance from here, Peter, I feel. He's usually a very, very effective forward. He's value for kicks when he gets up front, and he's given it a good ride, and it's drifting offline a little bit. The spoil from behind, and the free has been awarded, I believe, to Wilson, is it? No, it's gone to Feldis. There was an infringement from behind. The handball onto Smaller Combe onto Moose. Moose down wide to the wing, looking for Williams. Finds that player right on the boundary line. And at this stage too, I'd say that's a pretty even battle there between Williams and Earl, Peter. The battle there at centre half back was the outcome, Watherston winning that ball. A chip kick on to Mullins, who finds that player, and Mullen plays on around the mark, going wide to the forward pocket area. Wilson, the leaper from behind, tapped away down to Clohessy. Could not control the ball. A little bit of desire lack there, I thought, Peter. He had control of it, and he didn't follow up with it. On to Fowler. Yes, here's the opportunity for Fowler. He's probably pushed in the back there by Feldis, but play goes on. Schrapel gets the handball over to Wilson, I think it is. No, it looks like that ball's been paddled over the boundary line there, deep in the right forward pocket for Boston's. And just in this last 10 minutes, Gary, Boston seemed to have the initiative up, and just as I speak, there goes the siren. I think Boston's are right back into this game. 3 goals, 2, 20 behinds. South's 2 goals, 10, 22. And I really thought that South's wasted their opportunities in that quarter, Gary. And I also must make the comment that I think Coach Montgomery for Souths is being out-generalled here. I notice Simons for Boston's interchanging his players regularly. And I think under these conditions, that's very good tactics. And on his counterpart, Montgomery, I think, is not employing any of these tactics. And I think he's in trouble. He's also in trouble with Big Pont at centre half forward for... Yes, agreed, Peter. As you say, under conditions like this, you've got to interchange the players quickly, and he's doing it very effectively. I believe also that in that quarter, I thought Clark, Smallacombe and House in particular for South were very, very effective players. And for Boston's, Pont, Wilson and Montgomery in particular were very effective players. But we've got a couple of interesting duels, as you say there. Pont is getting on top of Smallacombe, on top of Clohessy. So obviously there's got to be a change made there. Back at the centre square now, the Adelaide umpire puts the ball down. Foster against Davies. Davies the big tap forward on this occasion. Williams the first opportunity at the ball, but he's knocked out of it. Clohessy there, but he's under pressure. Knocks it out towards O'Gorman, but gives McLaughlin comes out of that one. Over to Davies. Davis, he's caught with the ball. Kim Rowe the opportunity. He's under pressure, but gets a beautiful left leg chip away. It's found Greg Smart. A beautiful handball over to O'Gorman. He doesn't know what to do with it. I don't think he should have handballed then, but he's been pushed after disposal of the ball. And it's a advantage free kick going to Duncan. Duncan's hasn't been sighted yet today, but here's an opportunity for him. That breeze
Probably help him a little bit. A natural left legger, only about 35 metres out. Yes, it's a beautiful kick by Duncan. No, it hasn't made the distance.
It's over the top.
Touched, no, touched by Montgomery. Good defence by the fullback. And whilst that didn't look a good kick off the boot, the wind straightened it up nicely, Gaz, and I thought that one was through, but good defence there by Montgomery. Saved the day for Boston's.
Well, Peter.
Off the side of the boot with a kick, though, and Nugget Bilney the opportunity, but fine tap on there by Williams to House. Over to Kratzavalis. He eludes the immediate opponent, slams the ball through the goal, and that's a fine goal to South. Very handy one up the top end, Gaz, I think you'll agree. And I think if South really need to score goals into the breeze this quarter to stay in this game, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, it's a fine goal there, Peter. You know, and a good play, a nice tap on by Williams then too, and set Karatsevalis up, and Karatsevalis done the work from there. He run with the ball very, very quickly, and he's very from the centre bounce. Umpire Morford up. Davis the tap on. Pont the handball to Bryant. Off the side of the boot to the forward pocket, but fine positioning of the body by Fowler. I thought could have won by Raleigh, I should say. Could have won the free, but the kick out was very poor and comes back to Ian Bryant. From the half forward line right, he'll go deep. Very poor kick once again. A lot of these kicks today, Peter, have been just wobbling all over the place, and a fine mark taken once again by Smallacombe in defence. He's on top of Sharple at this stage. Sharple has got to lift his game. He goes to the half-back flank. In front is Earl. Picked up, kicked deep. And I think Sharple will have to take that free on the 10-yard square, directly in front. A very poor free there.
Yes, well, I was just about to make the comment that, and I think I did actually early in the game, that Smallacombe has changed his style of play and was playing the ball and doing a mighty job there for South, but caught out of position on that occasion. The frontal attack just wasn't on, and there's an obvious free kick there to Shrapel. He's made no mistake from right in front, and that was a pretty easy goal, I thought, for Boston's.
Yes, he does. It's going to be a real tight encounter.
Davis doing well in the ruck there for Boston's, I noticed, but here's O'Gorman with the opportunity on the left leg, chips it high. It's a real widowmaker, that one. Set Williams up, and the punch from Earl was good. Defensive knock on by Moose is a beauty. Gives Smart the opportunity. The wide handball out to the running Harry Miller. He's got plenty of pace, but can't quite control the ball on this occasion. There's the charge from behind by Raleigh. That was probably in the back, but play goes on. And here we see an FAD awarded to Boston's. That defender there in Raleigh, I think, as he kicked the ball away, was fouled. And Bryant at centre kicks the ball into centre half forward, looking for Pont once again. There's the leap from Moose behind. Harris was well tackled there by O'Gorman, I think it was. Ween, I'm sorry, and holding the ball there against Harris. Same set up again. Poor Williams is being set up time and time again, and the spoil there, but it comes off for South. There's O'Gorman, back to Williams. Fine play by Williams, a quick pressure kick forward. Karatsevalis can't control it. Here's Duncan the opportunity. He's an opportunist player. Used his pace onto his natural left leg, but unfortunately the kick's a shocker under pressure and out of bounds on the full. Deep forward left pocket for South. Here's Montgomery, the relieving kick for Boston's. Off the side of the boot once again, sets up Tom King, but Duncan, I thought, didn't cover that ground quick enough. He could have got there, but allowed King to mark that one, I thought. Up they go to Pont once again. Clohessy the spoil, knocks out wide, but intercepted there by Earl. O'Gorman runs into trouble, and whilst that tackle was a little bit high, he's been pinged holding the ball, which is 50-50, I thought, but against South on that occasion, right up there forward. And Raleigh it is. It picks the ball off the hands of Loxton, who's made front position well, but Raleigh it is who's controlled the ball better. And on this occasion, it's a bad kick off the side of the boot, and it lands inside the arena, but out of bounds.
I can't believe the kicking, Peter. It's incredible. So many kicks have gone off the side of the boot, and I can't understand why they're not using the drop punt. Everyone's trying to screw the ball down the field, and it's coming off the side of the boot, and it's incredible. In front in that occasion was Wotherston, kicked off the ground by Moose, gives Bryant the run of the ball. He straightens up, and a very poor kick from that position with this breeze behind him, and he puts it through for a minor score. It's I just can't believe that, Peter. Under these conditions, everything right, a little bit of breeze, but I can't believe the appalling kicking.
Gaz, I noticed the flag on the top of the grandstand here, and it is an Eagles flag, I'd hasten to point out, is blowing almost straight across the ground now, so there's no reason why Souths can't do their share of attacking this quarter. Kick out by Smaller Combe is low in trajectory and through Rowe's hands. Felt us the opportunity there, but Rowe again in the end, but out of bounds in the deep in the right, the left forward pocket for Boston. So up they go. Foster and Haynes do battle. Foster the tap straight down to O'Gorman. He's caught on his left leg, props well onto the right, and look where he's kicked this one, Gaz.
When to know where at all, Peter.
I think if you've got time to prop, Gaz, you've got time to look. And I think that was bad play. Loxton there the opportunity, but couldn't pull that one in. Handball comes out to O'Gorman. He's caught high, but is he holding the ball as well? And I can't quite pick up the motion there by umpire Morfitt, but it looks like it's a neutral ball, and I think he's decided he's going to have this one.
I think he was playing a violin or something there with that action, Peter. The tap away by Foster. Through comes Smaller Combe once again. He's played very well so far this game. Tremendous. And taps on well. Bryant in the van. Picks up well. Yes, he's got a lot of touches. He kicks towards centre half forward. A fine kick finds Pont at centre half forward. Pont will give this a ride right down into the goal square from this position. Oh, fine kick. Magnificent kick. Fowler from behind. Couldn't control it. Picked up by Harris, and a fine goal by Harris. Read that ball well, and a great piece of play. Started off by a fine pick up by Ian Bryant on the centre wing, and a perfect disposal to Pont at centre half forward, and finished off accordingly by the reading of the play by Harris. Now, it's a fine piece of play there, and that takes Boston's on to 5 goals 3, and South's 3 goals 11. I think that scoreboard might be a little bit wrong with the points there at this stage, Peter.
Not sure about that, Gaz, but I just want to comment. I thought Peter Moose had that snapshot covered as far as his attempt to smother was concerned, but somehow or other it just snuck under his hands, and there was no touch on the ball, and there's a good goal there by Harris, no problem at all. Just at this centre bounce encounter now, we see O'Gorman, well, probably both South players infringed there, but Clark's the man who finally gets the free kick, and a tumbling punt which didn't help anybody up forward at all. The spoil there, it allows Mullen the opportunity in front of the pack. He wheels around, but it's only a off the side boot. Rowe in front of the pack in fine style. Cops gets the pressure from behind from Pont, and the free must go to Kim Rowe on this occasion, the former male medalist. And yes, umpire Morfitt's intervened here, Gaz. What do you think of this one? The other umpire was right there, and yet Morfitt from up the ground has intervened and paid the 15-metre penalty.
And the Adelaide umpire also cut it back by about half once again there, Peter. We've seen it happen twice. Anyway, on with the game now. Mullen's in possession now. The kick goes wide. Bryant infringes on Miller, and Miller will take the kick. I think we're seeing the best of Danny once again now. He's trying to control the situation. He wants to be seen. Harry Miller, the kick to the forward pocket area. From behind, smart and a fine mark. He's about 30 metres out on the slightest of angles.
Well, we haven't seen much of the South forward line to date, Gaz, whilst they've certainly had plenty of shots for goal with 3 goals 11 on the board, but there haven't been any dominant forwards to date, and I think this young Smart is a player that the South would certainly be looking to get into the game. He's pulled in a fine mark now. He's only about 30 metres out, pretty well straight in front, and should convert this. Let's have a look at it. Shocking kick, shocking kick. Oh, but look at this. It's the bounce has evaded everyone, and Padsy Powers picked that one up, Gaz, and snapped it through over the shoulder. What did you think of that one?
Well, Bruce Sutherland tried to tap it through, tried the safe thing and tried to tap it through for a point, concede the point, missed the ball and it fell in Padsy's arms, and Padsy done it well from there, standing right on the goal line and just popped it through, which moves South on to 4 goal 11, Boston's 5 goal 3.
Lucky goal that one, Gary, I thought.
Very lucky, I would say. But you're right about the forward setup, Peter. Also from the centre bounce, Haynes, a tap back towards Raleigh, picked up by Bryant. Haynes once again, it's got to go deep. A left foot kick goes deep too. Shrapple in the front spot, well contested by Smaller Combe. Picked up by, who was that there? But Ween, and he's deemed holding the ball, and the resultant free kick will go to Wayne Raleigh. And I would say, well, I think I could have 2 bob on this one, Peter.
Well, I'm not going to take you, Gary, on this occasion. I think he's too close and he's pretty well right in front, and by gee, I reckon I could kick this one. Yes, young Ween was probably a little bit unfortunate there. The tackle was high, but on the other hand, he did try and run around the play, and yes, Rowley has converted on this occasion. The umpire had to travel a lot of distance to get a good side of it, but it did sneak inside the right goalpost on that occasion. And another easy goal there for Boston's, I feel. They're 6 goals 3 now, 39 behinds. South 4 goals 11, 35. This is still a good game.
See that all day. From the centre bounce, the tap away by Sturgis on to Rowe. Rowe the kick looking for House. In front was Leshen. Leshen the left foot scrubs it forward. Picked up by Haynes, the handball forward. Mullins. In comes Miller beautifully. Looking for a player, chips it out wide looking for Duncan. Duncan faints the handball. The kick is bad, intercepted by Earl, and players go to ground, and there will be a ball up on the left half forward flank for South. Anyone's game for sure. No one dominating at all. Pitch out, tapped out by Sturgis into the umpire, picked up by Earl, scrubs the kick forward over the shoulder, Ian Bryant, and plays on quickly. Kicks it deep. That's a better looking kick right into the position, but no one in particular, and Jamie Loxon chips in and takes the mark on the half-back flank. Looking for Sturgis from behind Haynes. Very poor effort from that player in that instance, and Sturgis will take the free kick from half-back. He goes wide onto the left boot. Looking for Loxton. From behind is Leshen. Taps it away. Williams, he's caught with the ball, drops it down in front of him, play on. Out comes from Sturgis to Rowe, evades the player, chips the kick beautifully to House, who's 15 yards away in front of Sutherland. Goes to play on, caught wide Sutherland, back to Rowe. Rowe deep to the forward pocket. Spoilt from behind by Montgomery. Picked up by Wollaston, left footer to the half-back flank. Spoilt from behind by South. Play on is the call. Sutherland, the handball, finds Earl. He's tackled brilliantly by who is that player there? Sturgis.
Yes, another good tackle there put on Wilson, is it, by Sturgis, and Sturgis the free kick. Deep to Foster, a good tussle there between him and Wollaston. Still tussling on the ground, and umpire Morfitt no alternative but to bounce the ball once again. Yes, well, things starting to really hot up a bit here at Centenary Oval, Gaz, and I as you say, you've been saying it all along, and this is going to be a great game. Here's the knockout for Kim Clark. He's been mowed down. I just can't pick up the free kick that's been awarded here. Yes, it's... Oh, no, it's going to Karatzavala, so I couldn't quite see that one.
I couldn't see that, Peter. I didn't see anything there.
Just while he's having his kick here, Gaz, I'd like to throw in a comment. I think Ian Bryant's the best player on the ground. He's really dominating at centre. There's the kick. Right up into the goal square, and umpire Morfitt has penalised the defender, Montgomery, the defender there. In the back was the decision, and Padsy Powers got this kick about 3 metres out from the goal line. Bring him round on a bit of an angle, but of course by the time he runs in close to the player, that should be no problem, and this should be an easy goal for South. Through it goes, and this wind doesn't seem to be having much effect on this game, Gaz, and there's no reason why these sides won't be neck and neck throughout the whole day. What do you think?
Yes, you're right, Peter, there, especially bringing the ball around on that bottom side and in underneath the pine trees there. They're protected fairly well from the wind there, and that seems to be the trend of the play. There's been a change here. Smaller game's gone to centre half, back on Pont, and Chloe Hesse to full back. From the centre bound, Haynes, an ineffective punch from anyone. Clark picked up brilliantly on the left boot. Running with the play is Sutherland. The bounce favours Harry Miller. Harry Miller, the chip shot wide, will find the player in Greg Smart, and he's about 35 metres out on about a 50-degree angle. I don't think he would have any problems with the distance here, Peter. Direction.
I think we could have 20 cents even money on this, couldn't we?
Right, I think so, Peter. Well, I'll collect off you because that seems to be out on the full there, Peter. The kick in by Montgomery. A long wobbly punt kick again. And picked up by Mullins. Mullen dummies the handball very well shepherded by Wotherston. Looking for Harris. Well sport by Ween. Picked up by Rowe. The handball wide, looking for Moose. Moose with one hand at it. Picked up by Harris again. A little chip shot on, looking for Wilson. Rowe in front spot again. Handball backwards, still in play. Picked up by Wilson. Well done, Wilson. Williams, I should say. To O'Gorman on his own. He had a selection of two players there. O'Gorman wide, looking for Miller. Miller in position. Bad bounce. Still wins out over top of Hughes. The handball back towards O'Gorman. Through comes Tom King. Bad bounce. Bad bounce for Tommy King there. Through comes Leshen. Over top of the ball. And the ball will be balled up at centre half forward for Lincoln South.
Yes, well, the game's certainly hotting up at this stage. Here's the bounce down. Foster gets the big run up over Haynes. Has a second swipe at it. Duncan's caught on his wrong leg. Gets around his opponent. Gets the chip shot in, but hello. Yes, he's been flattened behind the play, and an FAD will ensue. And this is costly defence, Gaz, I think you'll agree, from Boston's. And it looks like House to take the kick, and none better, I think, in the south forward set up to have a shot for goal from here.
Yes, unnecessary free there, Peter, and you're right. Your House should convert from there. Kicking directly into the wind, but the wind will have no effect on his kick.
Yes, it's a fine-looking kick. The applause from the crowd behind the goals, and by gee, that's a very valuable goal for South. They're now 6 goal 11, 47 behinds, leading Boston 6 goals 3, 39.
South centre bounce over the top. Foster down to O'Gorman. And will receive the free for over the neck.
Seems to be a bit of this going on, Gary, behind the play at the moment.
Oh, yes, it's. I didn't think there was much in that one at all, Peter. He was over the ball players, tackled, and anyway, a bad kick by O'Gorman, overrun by McLaughlin. The ball scrambles to the ground, picked up by Williams. Williams a snapshot, and he's made no mistake from about 35 metres out. With South going on to 7 goals 11, leading Boston 6 goals 3. Good bit of play by Williams. He read that well in, Peter, and made the best of his opportunity there.
Put them in with a good lead at this stage. That bounce favours nobody other than Kim Clark. No ruckman able to get to it. And the tackle's been put on him, and he's been penalised holding the ball. He's not very happy about it, but then again, he probably had time to get ball to boot. Bryant there with the opportunity. A fine kick down to centre half forward. Fowler the huge leap, and by gee, I reckon he marked that one, but play goes on. Rowe taps it forward to O'Gorman. He props and turns once again, gets one high, but no free kick ensuing. And yes, it is. He's been penalised holding the ball. Well, I don't know what you thought of that one, Gaz. If anything, I thought it was too high, but away they go. Fine kick by Wotherston, and there's the lead by Fowler.
There comes a 30-metre penalty again too.
Well, where's that Adelaide umpire to cut that in halves? No, it was a fine mark by Fowler, and I couldn't see why that little shunt had to be there from Feldis. That's bad football by South. And after getting a good break, as I just mentioned, it looks like they're going to let Boston's in for an easy one here, if Fowler can convert.
Yes, he's usually fairly reliable, but yes, that one's gone straight through the centre, and I think that's Michael Fowler's first goal for the match, Peter. And normally Michael's a very dynamic footballer, but he just seems over the years to have been found a little bit wanting in finals games. I don't know why it is, but he's had a fine season this year. His pressure football has been good. His body work's been fine, and you know, the lad is too good to be to put in poor performances in games like this. Tap away by Haynes from behind Wotherston. The handball wide, looking for Sutherland. Sutherland had to turn blind. Kick back towards centre from behind Williams. Ian Bryant. Play on is the call. Bryant through the centre half forward area. The deep kick looking for Shrapple. Well defended by Chloe Hesse. Shrapple once again. The handball on. Very intelligent handball onto Wayne Raleigh, and a fine piece of play there by Jim Shrapple, and started from Ian Bryant at the centre bounce, Peter. Simon's yeah. He's out, and
Back at the centre square now, umpire Morfitt bounces the ball. Foster and Haynes. Haynes the big leap over the top, knocks it towards Hughes. Rowe intercepts with a tap out. Clark favoured by the bounce. Over to the running Miller. He delivers the ball beautifully. Looking for Duncan. Gets one hand up only, which isn't good enough. Sturgis the opportunity. Kicks it out wide to Clark. He's on his wrong leg. Forced to kick with the left leg, but he can do that okay. Up it goes to Power, and Power positions himself beautifully in front of Tom King and takes that mark. It's a wobbly kick, and players were running everywhere, juggling for position. But Power read it the best and finished up taking a fine, well-judged mark there. And whilst he's on probably a 50-degree angle there, he should kick this because he's fairly close in. Yes, that's through. That's through. Another fine goal there to Padsy Power. And 11, 59. Boston's 8 goals, 3, 51. Goals there today, don't worry about that. Up they go at centre square. A nullified attempt at knockout there by both ruckmen. Knockout there favours Bryant again. Sold the dummy there, over to Pont, sucked Smallacombe in, and there goes the long kick right down the goal square. Schrapel the opportunity. Clohessy spoils. Loxton comes through in defence, but he's caught. Lucky not to be penalised holding the ball there, but umpires quick on the scene to, I think, bounce the ball. Let's see what's going to happen here. No, he's found a free kick to Loxton. Yes, he ran into a wall of players there, and as I called, he may have been penalised holding the ball, but looks like he's got one for too high. Out wide looking for Smallacombe, and yes, he's in front and should have been paid that one, I thought. He was dragged down, and there's the handball out. Wilson, is it? Being held after getting rid of the ball, and he's got the free kick half forward right for Boston's. He should be able to put this one right in the square. Fine kick there by Wilson, a beautiful kick right into the square, leaps coming from everywhere, but Schrapel couldn't hold that one. Over Loxton off the pack, drops the short chip in, looking for Smith, who's replaced O'Gorman. There's the handball over the top to Clohessy. The shocking bounce. Smith goes through with plenty of courage. The ball comes out here to Foster. Oh, fine one-handed leap there by Bryant, but not paid. South looked over the run of the ball, but Sutherland's interjected in fine fashion. And what's happened here, Gaz? Couldn't quite pick that one up, but Bryant's been penalised, I think, holding the player back, and it looks like House the free kick just behind the centre wing. He's well out of position, but kicks the ball right up across the centre line, and looks like Smallacombe. What's he doing up there? I think House must be at centre half back, yes. And what looks like Karatsavalis has been tackled unfairly here. I took my eyes off the play for a minute there, Gaz. Can you call that one?
Yes, he just got pushed in the back a little bit, but I believe these umpires are just changing a little bit, Peter. Fine kick there by Karatsavalis anyway, taken away by Leshen down to the centre area. Bounce favours House. He mishandles it. He's at centre half back now. Tapped on beautifully by Moose. Picked up by Rowe. Rowe the kick. Going deep. Two Boston players spoil each other then. The kick forward by Duncan finds Power once again. About 12 metres out directly in front of a goal.
Yes, well, Duncan, once he got possession of that ball brilliantly, he looked forward and was going to handball that one, I think, go for the long hand pass to Power, but saw that he had his opponent under the ball and was backing back and threw it quickly onto the boot, and it worked for Lincoln South. It came off, and Power was able to take that one on the chest running backwards, and he shouldn't miss this one, Gaz.
I'll have two bobs with it.
Oh, well, you can...
I think he just scraped that one in too, Peter.
I think that squares us up because that one's gone through, and this is turning into a great football game, Gaz. What do you think?
Yes, mate, it is. So I didn't believe from the start that there would be much in the game at all. Two centre half back. The tap by Foster. Non-existent. Picked up by Karatsavalis. In the van there, Tom King for Boston's. From the back pocket. A long screw punt. Right down towards Davis from behind. A good spoil by Foster. Picked up by Sutherland. The left foot kick finds David Raleigh. A fine kick there. Picked the player out, delivering a good kick by Raleigh. Right down towards full forward. From behind the leaping Fowler. Picked up by Harris. His snapshot goes just wide and through for a minor score to Boston's, taking them on to 8 goals 4. Trailing South's 9 goals 11. No, there's been some fine play today, Peter, and we're going to see a lot more yet too. This game is far from over.
Yes, just one comment there as that ball went down, moved very quickly in the forward lines by Boston's. There's a little bit of loose checking there by Ween, allowing Harris 5 yards there and gave him an opportunity at goal, and there's a let off there for South that he didn't put that one through. There's Clohessy. Pont, has been awarded that mark by Morfitt, umpire Morfitt, and he's... yes, he probably will. Look, yes, it's a fine kick. It's going to land right in the square. There's going to be plenty of big leaps here. No one able to mark. There's Schrapel, the opportunity. Yes, and he's potted that one right through. A fine left leg snap by Schrapel, and whilst he isn't outstanding down there, he's obviously proving a pretty handy player. He's shoveling out the handball, and he's just had those couple of opportunities that he's made taken every advantage of, and yes, he's proving a thorn in the side of the South defence down there. Over to you, Gaz.
He's a very fine team player, Peter. His body works very strong down there, and he's prepared to feed the ball around as long as players are there to receive it off him. From the ball up in the centre again, it's Davis and Foster, tapped on by Mullins. Harris, the little chip shot across to Bryant. Fine kick. Bryant will go deep, should go all the way from here. In the way is Clohessy with a touch to it, and through for a minor score to Boston's, taking them into 9-5, trailing South 9-11.
Just one thing I picked up at that last centre bounce, Gaz. The boundary umpire not standing on the point of the square, nor was the second central umpire. So very strange turn of events there, something I've never noticed in A-grade football before. There's the kick out by Clohessy, and a fine mark there by Smallacombe. He's really playing a good game. He spoiled it here with a bad kick that's landed right on the line. Probably a little bit fortunate. It might have just brought up a bit of chalk, Gaz, but I think McEnroe would have questioned that one, wouldn't he?
He used that win well then, Peter. The ball in. Davis comes to ground, picked up by Earl. Had a lot of opportunities today. Williams has possibly had the better of him. In front, Wilson, and a fine mark to young Darren Wilson on that half forward flank. Not a lot of movement. Fowler leads now, and a fine lead and a good kick by Wilson. Very fine kick by Wilson. He's a top player, Peter, this lad. He's valued for touches, and he's a thinking player. He's a leaper. He's got a lot of strong body work, even though he's not a hellishing big lad himself. Fowler's kick. He's pushed it to the right, and a minor score results to Boston's, taking them on to 9-6, trailing South's 9-11. Only 5 points in it.
South have only made the one move throughout the day, and that's been to change O'Gorman for Smith, and I really can't see the sense of this under these conditions. Here's Clohessy out in front of Schrapel, and tagged from behind and gets the free on this occasion. Deep at fullback, goes short. It's worked for them. It's Founrow. He's onto the left leg. No support from the fellow South defenders, but it's Smallacombe the opportunity gain. He's back into trouble. Gets around, and yes, the handball's set Moose up, but he's under pressure. Shrugs off the immediate front on tackle. Gets the kick forward, but poor play here by the South forwards. Duncan in particular caught out of position, and Leshen marking in fine fashion from the front position. Nice kick there by Leshen, right up to centre half forward, looking for the tall timber for Boston's. And there it is in evidence. Big Pont has pulled one in. And as I said before, this is the big problem spot, I think, for South.
He's playing a fine game there, Peter. He's grabbing everything in the air that comes his way. And unfortunately, our running players, the Boston running players, are not getting down there with him.
Well, that's a beautiful goal there, Gary. You can't beat that sort of football. When you've got a player like that who can pull in the big mark and kick him from the edge of the square, you've got real value. And by gee, I think Coach Montgomery's going to have to put his thinking cap on to try and nullify the Boston strength there.
Yeah, that was a handy goal there, Peter. You're right. You know, I believe that Boston's are possibly letting themselves down by having the winning player there in Pont, but they're not getting to him to support him. Tap on by Davis to Mullen. The handball from Bryant to Pont once again goes deep to the pocket, and that's going to be out on the full in the forward pocket for Boston's. Kick in to be taken by Clohessy. He will look, I would think, for Smallacombe. Smallacombe in the front spot. Pont from behind and grabs another fine mark. He's playing a very good constructive game there. There goes the half-time siren. Obviously, he has to have the shot. Boston's leading by 1 point at this stage. And he should make the distance, Peter, I feel, from there. He's given a fair ride, and that's straight through the middle. That's a fine kick, about 55 to 60 metres out. The handball from Earl. Handball from Bryant. To Haynes, back to Earl. Earl, a deep kick to the forward pocket. In position is Wayne Raleigh, and he will take the kick at a very, very acute angle in the right forward pocket. The check side kick, a little bit too sharp, and a minor score resulting to Boston's from that foray forward. Peter, what do you think about this game at this stage?
Well, the games, I think Boston's looking the stronger combination at this stage. They got the big guns firing, but just on that particular goal, I thought young Raleigh could have used Schrapel there on his own, about 30 metres out straight in front. Elected to go the banana kick, and 1 point only resulted. Anyway, back at the ranch here, we see Haynes, the mark, and he's kicked beautifully to Schrapel, and yes, there's the pressure from Smaller came from behind, and another 15 metres. And South getting a bit rattled here, Gary. I think they could be losing grip of this game altogether, because Schrapel's only about 25 metres out straight in front now.
I think they are, Peter, a little bit rattled there, but a shocking kick from Schrapel and through for a point. But I believe they are getting a little bit rattled, and by the same token, I think, as I said before, Tiki Touch would freeze. Both players going for that contested ball, and I don't believe that there was a 15-yard penalty in that.
Here's the kick in by Smallacombe. A fine kick by Smallacombe right up into the centre square. Good mark there to Michael Williams in front of his immediate opponent in Earl. Transfers play immediately across the ground, but well done by Wotherston. Knocked the ball away from Miller. House in there smothering the ball as well. Bryant's ridden into the ground by Smart, but no free kick. And has he got a free kick now, Gary? Got the second one. By gee, he's had a lot of touches, Gary, this player.
He's playing a fine game. He's a real competitor, and he's a great footballer. I've got a lot of time.
He's transferred play right across here to half forward left, and Fowler on a strong, hard lead. Mark Seasley in front of Felders. He kicks long, a nice kick right up near the goal square. Moose the big leap in front, gets fist to the ball. No one able to get possession. Schrapel handballs out. Ween takes possession, however. His handball goes nowhere. Wilson the opportunity in front of the pack. Can he get around? Plenty of pressure there from South. There's the chip. And that one's hit the post. A fine shot there by Wilson. That nearly went through, Gaz.
That was nearly a copy of that goal that Shane Harris kicked in the first quarter from the same position, mate. Avoided two players, and it was nearly a copy of that goal. Nice piece of play.
Here's Smallacombe again from fullback. Beautiful screw punt by Smallacombe, and Williams on the run, takes that one on the chest. He's handballed on to Foster, but he's done well for the big fella, Foster. Chips it up to centre half forward, but no one there for South. But luckily the ball's gone over the pack to Clohessy. The handball's on to Smart, into the open goal. He shouldn't miss that. Through it goes, and that's a valuable reply for South. They're going to have to put on a few more in this quarter if they're going to stay in this game. But now South's 10 goals 12, trail Boston's 13 goals 10.
Hesse's gone to centre half forward, I see there, Peter, and Smallacombe, of course, to full back, and House back to centre half back on Pont. No particular changes to the Boston side. I don't believe that they needed any, the way they were playing in those last few minutes before half time. From the centre bounce, Davis taps it the wrong way. Sturgis. Through comes Hughes, and will receive the ball, receive the kick for holding the man. A little bit high as well. Hughes' kick, looking for Davis. Over the top comes Harris, steals the ball off Davis's hand. Well tackled by Karatsavalis. Play on. Harris again, out wide to McLaughlin. McLaughlin on the left boot, looking for Fowler, and finds that player about 30 metres out on about a 45-degree angle. this wind, I think, will possibly, not that there's much there, Peter, but I think it'll possibly just push it out away a little bit. No, he didn't even go near it. Straight across goals, into the forward pocket. 3 Boston players contested with each other then, and the ball goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in the forward pocket. From the throw-in, Pont, tapped down, Shrapple, Rowe, picked up by Pont again, and a wild kick through for a minor score to Boston's. They go on to 13 goals 11, leading South 10 goals 12.
Yes, well, I see South using the second interchange for the first time in the day with Dwyer coming on and Karatsavalis having the spell. But here's Feldus taking that mark from the kick out. A real good screw punt there by Feldus. Possum Davies under the ball there, only one there, but the sun got him, I think. Miller
play a bit of a part in it too, Peter, later on.
Yes, it's terrible when it gets lower, isn't it, Gary? You know that from your experience. But South's attack here has been thwarted by Montgomery, who took a great mark there in defence. He kicks it forward. Good body work there by Earl, is it? Yes. Good tackle there by Williams. There's plenty of pressure on. Neither player able to get control. But what's the decision there? Can you see it, Gary? Yes, I think young Earl was being held back there, but still play goes on with the ball up there, and Sturgis and Davis. Davis's knock goes straight over the boundary line. Another throw in, Sturgis coming in, but Davis holds his ground for a good tap there to McLaughlin. His left leg kick goes forward. House the opportunity for South. But he's mowed down from behind, and yes, I thought that was an obvious free kick. I agree with Morford on that occasion, and House it is to get the ball moving again for Lincoln South. Taking his time, but yes, he's called play on. He eludes his immediate opponent in Earl. There's the left leg kick, got right under that one. Big Possum Davis is there. Couldn't control it. Smith the opportunity for South. Can't control the ball. Bit of desperation in there by Wotherston. He's been tackled on the ground. Knocked forward by Dwyer, beautifully to Duncan. Duncan's taking too long, but finally gets the kick away. Where's Foster? He's too far behind. And Harry Miller off the front of the pack, beautifully. And yes, he's put that straight through. Good play, Harry Miller. He's read the ball off the hands exceptionally well, and he doesn't miss him, Gary, when he gets an opportunity in front.
Oh, you're right there again, Peter, and he's given too much latitude at this stage. A lot of latitude. From the centre bounce, umpire Morford. Tapped on by Davis towards centre half forward. Through comes Moose. Tapped on to Williams. Williams the handball. On to Power. Power the long handball wide to Duncan. Dwyer, I should say, back inside. Terrible handball, you're right. True. But Smith will get the resulting free kick for a tag.
I doubt whether he'll kick this, Gary. I'm not going to back him here at this stage. I don't think he's going to make the distance. Yeah,
20 cents not too safe, you reckon, Peter? I think you're right too. The ball dropped short. Chloe Hesse couldn't take it. Through comes David Raleigh for Boston's. And a free kick will be given for shepherding against Sutherland to Foster in the, about a 45-degree angle.
Well, what do you think about 20 cents even money on this one, Gary? I think he should kick this one, and there's been a fair bit of scragging going on behind the play. I think there's
too, but I don't think he'll kick.
Oh, terrible kick. Good heavens, my money's down the drain again, but gee, South are going to finish up with a cricket score on the point side of the scoreboard anyway, Gary. Here's the kick out by Montgomery. Beautiful screw punt right up to the kick off the square line, and good mark to Possum Davies. Davis, I mean. I was probably a little bit unkind to him earlier in the commentary, but he's done a great job to date, I think, for Boston's. And it's gone forward here, and here's Peter Moose, the half-back flanker for South, taking a fine mark and a good kick forward. There's Davis again under the ball, can't control it. Harry Miller behind. There's Hughes, through beautifully. Tackled by Sturgis, but on to McLaughlin in the meantime. McLaughlin on to Raleigh it is. What's he doing up there, Gary? But he's got a fine kick forward. And look at this. Raleigh uncontested. I can't see why Loxton stood on the ground then, and obviously the pressure he was expecting from the bigger South defenders just wasn't put on at all. And Raleigh's marked unopposed. He should kick this one. He's only about 20 metres out. Very slight angle. And as I say, he should convert here. It's gone well off the boot. The umpire doesn't move. Another goal to Boston's, and I think they've got a grip on this game at this stage, Gary.
It looks like it, Peter, at this stage, yes. I'd agree with you. And the interchange affected once again. Haynes for Davis, and the big fella, as you say, who made the comeback so many times, has been an effective part of the side. From the centre bounce, Haynes tapped out by Sturgis. Through comes Williams, well tapped on, met by Sutherland. The left footer, well tackled by Williams. In goes McLaughlin, well done, plays on quickly. Wilson on the left boot, he'll pop it up, give someone the opportunity. Well done, Shrapple. Fowler failed to handle it, and a good tackle, and it's called play on. And now the umpire decides that he's going to ball it up. From the ball up, 15 yards out in front of Boston's, Pont. Sturgis, kicked off the ground by Pont. Ball bounces, Loxton around the outer side boundary on the left boot. Swings it back towards half forward. It's 3-on-1 here. In front, David Raleigh. Play on is the call, and he's been flattened. Play on is the call. Very poor umpiring there. Pont caught. Play on is the call. Losing a little bit of grip, some of these guys. Back to the centre. That's what I mean, Peter. Play on. Dwyer off the ground.
Boundaries throw in now. Half forward left for Lincoln South. Foster in front. Haynes behind. Clark gets the opportunity, but he's ridden into the ground. Here's a chance for O'Gorman back on the ground. Gets a wobbly kick away, and looks like another free after disposal, Gary. The Boston defenders, Montgomery in particular, in front and had everything going for him. But one of his teammates down the ground has let him down by, creating the, fouling the player. And here's Chloe Hesse with an opportunity. By gee, I think he'll go close here.
Yes, he's a nice kick of the ball, Peter, yes, and he'll go very close.
Oh, look at this. Look at this, Gary. That's a beautiful goal by Chloe Hesse. Tremendous goal, and look, South, they need a couple more of them to get back into this game. They're 12 goals, 13, trailing Boston's 14 goals, 11. Back at centre square, Sturgis the tap out. Clark, he hasn't been sighted for a long time, Gary, but away he goes. Penetrates with a screw punt right down to the square. They're looking for Smart, I think it is. And what's happened here? No, the Montgomery has been paid the mark in front, which is fair enough. Yes, they're playing Smart at full forward now, and Padsy Power's at half forward right. Up goes that kick, and Sturgis, I think that'll be the first mark he's taken today, Gary. He's battled his hard in the ruck, but by gee, South need players like that to hold marks around the ground.
Yes, I can't remember him grabbing many, Peter. The kick is forward, in front, two Boston players, and Montgomery and Sutherland. He's playing a very good game back there, yes. Reliable. Long kick to the half-back flank. Behind is Haynes, and in front once again Sturgis. As you said, Peter, he hasn't been sighted with marks, and he grabs two on the trot. He'll go deep. The long screw punt, a beautiful kick right into the goal square. From behind, Fowler. Looks like he's having a run on the ball to give him a bit of feel of it. And the ball goes out of bounds in the full forward left pocket. The boundary throw in, Foster in front. Taps it back to O'Gorman. O'Gorman tagged, should have possibly got a free there. Picked up by Smart. The left footer, goal. Well done, Greg Smart. Fine piece of play, and Souths move on to 13-13, trailing Boston's 14-11.
Play underway once again. Haynes against Sturgis. Sturgis the tap forward, gives Clark the opportunity. Oh, he's fumbled on this occasion, but there's the handball shoved out wide to Williams. Couldn't get the kick away. He's been smothered there by Sutherland. Kick off the ground there by Sutherland is on this occasion now, sorry. The pressure applied from Dwyer, but the ball's not out yet, and the defenders get that ball away. Williams the opportunity once again. Quick left leg chip away, but it's ineffective, and straight to Leshen for Boston's. He transfers play to the centre of the ground. It's Sturgis the opportunity. Power behind. Couldn't use the opportunity. He's met by House. There's the knock on to Pont. Over to Bryant, but well, there you go. He's been penalised for throwing the ball, and have a look at this, Gary. Here we go. Hello. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this. It's on here at Centenary Oval. A clash between umpire Morfitt and Joey Haynes for Boston's. This is sensational stuff. This player could be reported. He's gone up and shunted the umpire, and by gee, I thought that probably umpire Morfitt was lucky that he stopped at that. But anyway, there's play transferred to centre half forward for South. No, Gorman kicks it into the goal square. Can they convert? Where are the big fellas? Foster's up high, and he's marked it. He's got a whack over the area for his trouble, but a fine mark there to Foster, and by gee, I hope he makes a better fist of this one than he did the last, Gary.
Yes, it's incredible, Peter, you know, guys that want to control games, and it's incredible. But the goal converted by Foster, that takes them into the lead now, 14 goals 13, leading Boston's 14-11. It's incredible.
She's on there, isn't it? Game underway once again. This game is really hotting up, and the bounce favours Davis. Back to Mullen, but he's mowed down. No free kick. Here's Clark, the opportunity. He evades the opponent. Yes, gets possession again in fine style. Kicks it forward. That's not going to goal, but Foster the opportunity. No, he can't mark it. 1 point for South. This game is really hotting up, as I say. Souths have taken the lead by 2 points. Anything can happen from here. I think that last incident might, it'll be interesting to see what effect that has on the players of both sides.
Yes, Peter, and effectively what's happened in that centre bounce area now too is that Mick Fowler is tagging Kim Clark in that area, and he's got it away 3 times in succession. Back to the play, and the ball kicked by Brian up to the half-forward flank, where it goes, is Sportman goes out over the boundary for a throw-in on the half-forward flank for Boston. From the throw-in, Pont, the tap down, scrimmage around, Mullins out, tapped on by Bryant, straight to Moose. Moose the kick back towards half flank. Two South players on their own. Williams takes possession, switches the ball to centre, looking for Smart, and in front is Bruce Sutherland, a fine mark in front of the pack. Looking for Leeds out here. Poor kick though, dropped short into Pad's Power on the half forward flank. Power from the point of the square, a long screw punt, looking for Foster. Foster from behind, over the top, evades all players, hits the point post, and a boundary throw-in will result right in the forward pocket area for South. The throw-in. In front, Davis. Taps back. King, Davis, the kick. In the back to Earl, I thought. Play on is the call. Kim Clark. Handball to Mullen. Mullen the chip kick over top. Give the running players the opportunity. Williams leading the player. Good handball to Moose. Well backed up by Moose. Poor kick off the left boot. Mullins again is tagged. Play on is the call. No, it's not. Mullins will receive that kick from the half-back flank. Mullins to Pont at half forward. Pont a fine mark in front of House. A handball quickly to Earl. Well tackled. Back to half-back. Mullins spoilt. Mullins sets it up again. Left foot. Hughes. Miller tapped on by Hughes. Rowe. The handball is good to Dwyer. Dwyer to half forward. Duncan from behind gives the free away for in the back.
Stood his ground there, Gary. It's a shocking umpiring there. I thought the umpire was just caught out of position and probably paid that one for the crowd. But anyway, on it goes. And must be an evener upper, I think, Gary. As soon as we pick up one, one equally easily goes the other way. But here's Pad's Power anyway. Centre wing for Lincoln South. Should drive them deep into attack. Tumbling punt. There's Post Davis under it. The only one there. And gee, if South...
Played a pretty effective game there.
He has, yes. I have to admire him. He's come back and done a great job. Yes, Pont again pulling in that strong mark against Ween. There's the short chip, and Fowler won't miss that. Yes, they're playing well, Boston's, and Fowler now, here's the call from McLaughlin short, and he's too far out in front of him. The opposition from Feldis, he's not a very quick player, and there goes the kick over towards Mullen, but Pont from behind. He's picked it up and slammed it. I think it's, no, just offline. Let off there for South as Pont ranging through the half-forward line. Had a shot there, and by gee, there's not much in the game now. Only 2 points in favour of Lincoln South. Smallacombe the kick out. A great screw punt by Smallacombe right up the centre of the ground. There's Kim Clark on the chest. Bounces once, bounces twice, bounces 3 times. This is good play. He's absolutely run into Grant Power, and good heavens, is that how well Souths are playing today? They've run into each other, but here's Boston's now. The handball over to Hughes. Hughes kicks forward. There's plenty of bodywork going on under the play. Schrapel pushes out Smallacombe, but there, look at this. There's 3 Boston players completely unattended, and Harris there, the opportunity. He's blown it, as you say, Gary. He had the opportunity to sink that one straight through, but he's missed an easy one. No pressure on at all there, and Souths now still hold that 1 point lead.
Yes, Harry blew it there. He had 3 players all the time in the world, and he blew that one from the kick out. A long kick too, once again, and the free kick will go to Lesham for in the back on the centre wing area. Lesham, the Indian rubber man we call him. Wobbly looking kick. In front is Moose, is it? No, it's not, House. And House will take that free kick at half-back left. Clohessy on the lead. House looks for that player. In front spot from behind Sutherland. But a good mark to Clohessy. Very good mark to Clohessy there. Clohessy looking up front, looking for Smart. Smart on the lead. He's missed it, but will be paid the free kick for interference. Yes, I think possibly a little bit fortunate there too, Peter. Smart's kick from about 35 yards out. He's hooked and hit the post. That's the 3rd time, I believe, Peter, now for the day. And Souths go on to 14-15, leading Boston's 14-13.
Here's the kick in by Montgomery. It's a beautiful kick up looking for Davis, and yes, he's well in front, interfered with, but no free kick ensuing. Sturgis in there, dragged to ground, no free kick once again, and umpire Morfitt will bounce the ball. Up go, oh, there's Power in from behind. There's a bad bounce, and yes, he's been steamrolled. But unintentional stuff there. Post Davis, I'm sure, wouldn't hurt a fly, really. Although he's a big, strong man. He just careered into Power, and it's unfortunate, but the free was there. And Power now, I don't think he'll kick it, Gary, but he should be able to land this in the square, and they'll be looking for a big mark.
A very long kicker, and that ball is no exception. Right in front with Foster, missed it. Smart, very done, well done, Smart, and Montgomery's right on him, and a ball up will take place in the right forward pocket for South. The ball up by Morfitt. Fowler over the top. Sutherland, the handball to, who is it? Wotherston, a long handball to Hughes. Beautiful handball from Wotherston. Pont, Mullins. Handball well smothered by House. House, the long kick across goal, and all on his own is Greg Smart, about 25 metres out, virtually directly in front of goal, and should convert from here. On the siren, Smart jabs at it, but steers it straight through. And South go to 15-15, leading Boston's 14-13 at the quarter time siren. handy lead again, Peter.
Final quarter underway here at Centenary Oval in this fantastic first semi-final. Foster gets the tap over Haynes, but it's Clark under the bottom of that pack, just had no opportunity to get rid of the ball. And another ball up by the SANFL umpire. Up they go, Foster and Haynes again. Haynes the tap on this occasion, Rowe taps it forward. He's still paddling the ball, pressure from behind from Hughes. Rowe still can't pick it up, he's gone to ground. There's the handball back, but Foster's the big fella in there. He's done well. A beautiful handball out to Miller. Here's the opportunity for South. There's the one bounce, two. He looks up ahead. And hang on, what's gone on behind the scenes? Another free kick, another shepherding free kick behind the play. Sensational stuff here at Centenary Oval. South looked like doing anything with Miller running loose across that half-forward line, but Haynes it is. The free kick at half-back for Boston's. He plays on around O'Gorman, kicks to the centre of the ground. Big Pont's in there. House, pressure from House. The ball comes to ground. Pont the handball out. There's a quick kick. It's a lucky one. It's come off. It's hit Mullins on the chest. There's the kick right into the square. Loxton's out of position. Knocks it away from Raleigh, however. And fine dash by Loxton. He kicks the ball right out to half-back. There's Rowe under there. His shoulder's obviously hurting. One hand, did you notice that, Gary, at that ball?
Yes, it was one hand. His shoulder's a bit sore by the look of it.
Too good a player to take off, though, Gary, I would say at this stage.
Yes, he's a very talented footballer. From the boundary throw in. Pont over the top, taps forward. 3 South there, picked up by O'Gorman. The ball smothered off the boot. Pont on the left boot. Tries to swing it back in towards Harris. Harris and Smaller Combe, but the ball beats both players over the boundary line, and a throw-in will take place in the left half-forward pocket for Boston's. From the throw-in, Pont over the top, picked up by Ween, the handball towards Miller, picked up by Clark. Miller again. He drives towards half-forward, but in the way is Sutherland. He plays on quickly, straightens the body, goes towards centre half-forward, looking for Harris. Beautiful kick, and a perfect kick. Harris wide towards Wilson, 15 yards clear of House. Wilson about 50 yards out on about a 45-degree angle, and I think he can kick this one, Peter.
Well, you can back him with me, Gary. I think he's too far out, but there's the lead on. Yeah, it's a fine kick, but across the face of goal. He made the distance all right, but yes, off hands, Schrapel couldn't hold that one on the line and through for one behind.
Keep it down there, keep it blocked in.
Here's the kick in by Smaller Combe. It's a tumbling punt, but fortunately for South, it's hit Rowe on the chest. Away he goes. He's a running player. Can't get around Haynes easily, but gets the right legger away. There's McLaughlin under the fall of the ball, but couldn't quite make it, and the ball has gone out of bounds for a throw-in. Foster and Haynes to do battle. A lot of bodywork being used. Foster half tap Gorman. His kick goes straight up in the air. It's no advantage whatever. Off the pack, and O'Gorman the opportunity, but he's running the wrong way. Here comes, couldn't quite pick up that Boston player, but the ball's been tapped out. Mullen it was to Rowe, over to House. He's in trouble. It's lucky not to get penalised there, but here's Mullen again. He's getting a lot of touches. Look how much room Pont's got here. Williams can't peg him down from behind, and that kick's going to go straight through the middle. No, it's not. It's hit the post. More sensation here at Centenary Oval. Another point to Boston's. South lead 15-15 to Boston's 14-15. Here's the kick in by Smaller Combe, and more sensation. There's no end to it here today, Gary. umpire Morford is penalising Smaller Combe for having kicked over the centre square, and as I say, there's just no end to this today, is there?
You're not wrong, Peter. You're not wrong at all. Every man to their say, I guess. The ball goes up. Pont and Foster, ineffectual tap from anyone. The ball scrimmaged around. In possession is a South player, and he will receive the penalty for around the neck. Jamie Loxton, yes.
Good defender today, I think.
Yes, he's played quite effectively. Loxton looking wide, no leads forthcoming. He looked for Foster, the big fella. Haynes in front, Foster the leap, and a fine mark taken by Ray Watherson, the skipper. And a little chip shot over to Ian Bryant, who will be about 15 metres out. I don't think he'll make the distance, Peter.
He should have tired legs, Gary, after getting the number of kicks he's got today. That's all I've got to say.
He'll give it a ring, but it'll lob a bit short. Jostling for positions. Over the top came Smaller Combe, but it's rushed through for a point, which makes the difference 5 points. 15-15 South, 14-16 Boston's. Smaller Combe goes short and wide. The ball does not favour Ween, is it? But he recovers, smothers the ball off of Harris, and they were very lucky to get out of that South there in that situation. From the throw-in the front spot, Pont down to O'Gorman. O'Gorman forcing his way through the pack, taps it on. Loxton in possession, handballs the ball out, but a ball up will occur about 40 metres out from the Boston's goals. And who have we got? Pont doing the ruck work in the forward lines in front of Foster. Tap down, Wayne Raleigh. Handball off, Rowe, the handball to Felters. Felters is met. He's met. I thought that was a fair bump, Peter. He met him in the stomach area with the hip and shoulder, and umpire Morford indicated around the neck.
Well, he doesn't look too healthy, Peter Feltus, but the ball's gone to Lenny O'Gorman, and he's going to get play underway once again. He's under that ball a little bit, so's Foster for South, but is at the centre of the ground. There's young Earl, quick straight onto the boot, is lucky to find Hughes. Hughes is chipped away right in the... And look, there's Schrapel under the ball, shepherding, but Smaller Combe back there. It looked like the Battle of the Giants, but through for a behind once again. And it looks like Feltus is coming off the ground at this stage, Gary. He's hurt.
Well, I wonder how the around the neck free come there, Peter, when he can't walk through his leg. The kick out by Smaller Combe. In front is Haynes. He quickly on the left boot. A silly kick, really, I thought. Wilson, the handball to Schrapel. He's caught. The handball back to Harris, and I think he's popped another one. And that puts Boston's 1 point in front, and well played by young Wilson in particular in that incident, and Harris running through, give the backing support that was needed, and he popped through the resulting goal. They go to 15 goals 17, South to 15-15. From the centre bounce, Haynes, the tap, Bryant the run. Met by Wilson, beautiful handball to Bryant. Bryant looking for Schrapel, and a great mark by Schrapel taken in that right forward pocket. He's on his right leg here, Peter, and he kicks left leg, and I reckon he'll kick this one.
Yes, it'll be a good goal if he gets it. He's played around a little bit. Oh, yes, he's done a good job with that. Came very nicely off the boot. And Boston's now taken 8 point advantage here. They're... Back at the centre now, where Boston's take a good advantage here. They're 16-17 to South 15-15.
Run by Haynes to Bryant.
Haynes to Bryant. Bryant goes deep. There's the big Battle of the Giants on again. Smaller Combe has juggled this mark on this occasion. It's a real good tussle down there, Gary. It's a smaller comb, kicks further forward. There's Dwyer under the ball, but so's Hughes. Here's Ween the opportunity. He gets the handball away. Past House. Miller the opportunity. Grubbard kick away, but it only goes as far as Harris. He chips away. Look at McLaughlin. He's got a paddock. And he takes the mark, and this could be a valuable goal here, Gary. I think you're backing from here, wouldn't you?
I'd favour him running across the goals on his left leg, actually, Peter.
Well, I think he'll kick this one, and by gee, that's going to make it hard for South to get back into this game, but it's been a great game, and anything could happen here. No, across the face of goal, 1 point only resulting, and by gee, what a game this is. Boston 16 goals 18, South 15-15. Kick in by Smallacombe, and hello, what do we got here? There's, you wouldn't believe it, there's no end to the sensation here today, as we say. Morford has picked up and penalised the full forward for not being the required distance away from the goal square.
How'd you like to buy real estate from him?
Yes, well, he can sell me a block of land any day of the week, but away we go. Smallacombe now at centre half-back. There's the handball on to Clohessy, but his handball straight to Shrapel. And there's the chip at goal. I think he's missed it by the way the goal umpire's running. Foolish football by the South defenders. It's okay to handball, but you've got to get it over your opponent's head. And there's another point to Boston's. Short kick here by Smallacombe. Oh, look at this. South seem to be rattled here, Gary. That short pass by Smallacombe over Rosehead. And it's Harris there chipping away, but he allows Miller in from behind. Mullen the opportunity. His kick smothered. Is that Loxton there? But oh, he's handballed away, but been tackled too high. And he's been a good defender, Jamie Loxton. He's got the opportunity now to bring South out of trouble. There's the handball out to Miller. That didn't gain anything, but Miller swings the ball wide, looking for Clohessy. He's up there. He's got the opportunity now. He's ridden into the ground, but play goes on. And yeah, stalemate and another throw up here by umpire Morford. On they go. There's the knockout by Sturgis, but no South players in front of the ruck. Bryant in charge of the ball. He's been ridden into the ground. No free kick ensuing. He can't be one of umpire Morford's favourite players, but play goes on. There's the throw in. Haynes in there. He's done a good job in the ruck. There's Wilson over to Mullen. He's got a lot of kicks. Onto the left leg, and it's a good one into centre half forward, jostling for position. And a good mark there by Reggie Ween. There's the handball again. Hope it comes off this time, by G. There it is out to Smallacombe. Yes, he's juggled it, brought it in well. There's the handball on, but no one able to make position. Kim Rowe, I think he's still favouring that shoulder. Good tap on to Duncan. He's around his immediate opponent. He kicks forward. There's young Smith. Oh, he's been paid that mark. Very fortunate. Under no pressure at all there, Gary, and a bit of a juggle, but very lucky to be paid that one. And I still wouldn't back him because I think he's too far out here.
Yeah, righto, Peter. Yes, you're right. From the kick, young Smith hooks the ball badly, right over, and it's out on the full into the kick in from the back pocket area for Boston's. Tom King to take the kick. He's looking wide to Ray Watherson, the skipper. In the middle is Leshen. They spoil each other. Over the top, Sturgis. Play on is the call. Bit of a pack developing here. Bilney, and he will receive the free for around the neck. Pont the lead. Bad kick by Bilney. Finds House.
South's got to make every poster winner from here if they're going to win this game, Gary. They need a couple of goals and they've got to get them quick.
Yes, there's a few tired players out there, Peter, but the game is not over. Up to the full forward area and a fine mark taken by Montgomery, who's played a fine game in defence today for Boston's.
Great game in defence by Montgomery.
A long kick towards Big Poss Davis. In the front spot, good spoil by Sturgis. A fine handball by Earl to Pont. To Wilson. He takes a run, bounces a long kick right towards goal. And that's a fine kick by Wilson and a fine piece of shepherding in the goal square by Shrapel as well. That moves Boston's on to 17-19, 15-15. I think they might have a little grip on it now, Peter.
It certainly looks that way, Gary, and I don't like the look of my money at this stage. Back at centre square now. There's Sturgis to do battle with Davis. Davis has done a great sterling job there for Boston's, and so has this fella Bryant. He's got another left legger forward. Harris the opportunity. Ween in there. So's O'Gorman. He breaks clear. A quick left legger, but to nowhere in particular. Clark looks very tired as Watherston has got him covered. Over it goes, and there's another clash of players, but Karatsavalis comes away. Shocking kick by Karatsavalis. Wrong foots everybody. Padsy Power's got the tackle on Leshen. I thought he was holding the ball, but Sutherland it is. Away they go, Wilson. And here's this Wilson again. A fine mark by Wilson. Yes, what a player he's turning out. Yes. Well, anyway, there's a pressure kick forward, and Tom King the opportunity. Good tackle behind from Dwyer. Yes, and holding the ball is the decision from umpire Morfitt.
The decision was right there, Peter, but the kick sort of, what about that one? Play it on, he said. Play on again. And Earl, the kick forward. In front is Raleigh. Play on the call once again. And the ball is scrimmaged up in the right forward pocket for Boston's, and a ball up will result. A little bit of pressure football coming into this game now. Desperation, Peter.
Well, there are a lot of errors being made, Gary, under this pressure, and time's running out for Lincoln South, and they had a couple of opportunities, couple of good possessions there, and couldn't take advantage of it. Over to Schrapel, beautiful handball, but hang on, play stopped. There's something going on back at the fall of the ball there, and
free for around the neck, I think, Peter.
Free to McLaughlin it is, and I think this one could sew it up, I think, Gary.
I think it could, Peter, yes. As I said, I still favour him running across the ground with the left leg. From the set position, he's tried to steer it through, and it's only a minor result to Boston's. They needed that one really to possibly seal the game there, Peter, but anyway, a minor result, and they move on by another point, and who was to kick out? Smaller Combe to kick out from full-back. There we go. The kick out from Smaller Combe finds Post Davis right there. Actually, a few years ago, I would have backed Post to kick that from there, but he handballs to Bryant. Bryant, the wobbly kick forward. O'Gorman, he's playing a fighting game for South, Peter O'Gorman, but his kick finds Watherston. Watherston, the little short kick towards Pont, and I'll bet he makes the distance.
Yes, I think he will, Gary, but by gee, you'd have to say Souths are rattled at this stage. They're really in tatters in defence at this stage, and I just can't see them getting out of this one. There's a long kick by Pont, but unfortunately it's offline, and one behind for that player. Looks like Sturgis down there now to kick out, Gary, and he's a long kicker of the ball. And oh, look at this kick though. This Pont fella has taken numerous marks today, and why a fullback would kick anywhere near in the vicinity of a fella like this has got me absolutely whacked. But he's had no trouble pulling that one in, and he's going to land this in the goal square, Gary.
Yes, for sure, Peter. I think either he or Ian Bryant has been best on ground today. A long kick by Pont, drops a little bit short, touched and rolls through for a minor score. Yes, he's played an excellent game at centre half forward, and he's beaten every opposition that's come on him, and it's been a fine game from Pont today for sure. Sturgis the kick out again, goes wide this time with a screw punt. Pads Power, late on the scene Ray Watherston. Power the kick from half back. They look a little bit lethargic at this stage, Peter, South. Power's kick finds Williams. He's undecided what to do. Players are covered everywhere, so he goes to the centre half forward here, looking for Smaller Combe. Sport by Sutherland. Sutherland in over the ball again, and a ball up will result from that centre bounce from that area there. The ball up. Davis, the tap, ineffectual. Tapped on by Leshen. Down to Duncan. Hughes. The quick kick forward. Meeting it is Pont. Taps on to Mullins. Controls it beautifully, Mullen. And he will go very, very deep for sure. A nice kick down to Schrapel. One-on-one. And a fine mark taken by Sturgis at fullback. Fine mark.
Yes, he's played on, Gary, but look at this kick. It's a shocker, but Kratzavallis the opportunity, but there's Leshen, is it? Earl over to McLaughlin, running McLaughlin, and he's had a shot for goal. It looks pretty good from here. Schrapel's grabbed it on the goal line and popped it through, and it's all over Red Rover. Another goal to Boston's. They're now 18-22, 130 behinds. Lincoln South 15-15, 105. And this game is all over, Gary.
They can keep Sharple quiet for the day, mate, any side, but he will still finish up at the end of the game, kicking about 5 goals and hands out 4 or 5 as well. He's a fine player, team player.
Up they go at the centre square. The bounce favours Davis. He gets a big thump. Karatsevalis the opportunity from the back of the square. Here's Duncan. Couldn't trap the ball. The ball bounces in favour of Leshen. He's met by Dwyer, but play goes on. Met by Moose, but he still goes on. It's a great defence by Leshen. Chips it into McLaughlin. He can't control the ball. There's Loxton. He's probably been one of South's best. Kicks right up to the centre of the ground. Possum Davis is there. Kim Clark, no opportunity.
Great game, Peter. Poss Davis. He's been very, very valued today.
Yes, well, I didn't think the Boston selectors did the right thing by including him, but he's proved me wrong. He's played a great game for sure. Up they go. Spoiled off hands. Rowe the opportunity. There's Wilson. He's been a good player too. He kicks the ball deep. There's Sturgis the opportunity over Shrapel. And yes, he's been paid that mark. A good attempt there by Sturgis. And he's doing a good job down there at fullback, but of course very little to fight for at this stage, Gary.
Yes, the game's over, I think, Peter. His kick back to the centre of the ground. Through comes Ian Bryant, one of the best players on the ground, and he was in the front spot and did not receive the free. Dwyer's kick towards half forward. Through comes Montgomery, tapped by Leshen. Duncan, this should be a goal to South. A belated goal, I feel, at a goal to Duncan. That puts the score 6 points closer, but I believe the game is all over. And behind the scenes, we've got a Boston player down. He's in a bit of strife too, by the look of it, Peter. Sutherland. Bruce Sutherland is.
Back at centre square where South are really looking for a miracle. Smaller came into the ruck. Rowe the quick kick away. Looks like O'Gorman there, but Sutherland through with strength. There's House in there. There's Miller the opportunity. Sutherland's down again. There's the handball, but well stopped there by Bilney. He's now got the run of the ball. Good defence by Bilney. Beautiful kick by Bilney. Oh, and Wilson had that all to himself, but has tripped over. He's now tackled. There goes Bryant again with another kick. And, beautiful mark to Harris. He's been too good for Ween today. His chip there favours Chloe Hesse. That's lost the impetus there for Boston's. And Chloe Hesse now the opportunity to rebound for Lincoln South. Here's the kick out wide. I think he's looking for Grant Power. Ponder's there too. Oh, beautiful mark to Smallacombe. He's
played a good game,
he's tried his heart out, Gary. And as I say, it looks like it's going to be in vain. But still, you have to admire him. There's Duncan, couldn't quite hold that one. Everyone's still fighting hard. Haynes possession, kicks to centre half forward, nobody home. Chloe Hesse reads the ball well at the back, but the ball bounces badly for him. Harris has pulled to ground. There's Shrapel. He's got the strength to get around. There's the handball over to Pont. Bad bounce, favours Sturgis. He's brought to ground, no free kick. Here comes young Ween. He's picked it up well. Over to Karatsevalis. Karatsevalis is another one of them torpedo punts, but it's a bad one, and he was looking for Smallacombe, but he's let Earl in here, and South just can't seem to get it together to get out of this one at this stage.
Earl doing the right thing, slowed the game down there, Peter, and his long kick now goes right into the full forward area, and from behind comes Shrapel, but the free kick has been given away, and Sturgis will take it for in the back. Sturgis' kick down to the half-back flank. Haynes a fine mark. The handball quickly on to Pont. The handball once again to Wilson wide. Wilson's been a fine player on this half-forward flank today, and he's going to... No, he won't kick a goal. You were right. You were wrong, and so was I, Peter. But a fine bit of play there, and it should have resulted in a better result than that. From the kick in. Brian in front. Jamie Loxton, one of South's better players today. Tackled. McLaughlin, the handball to Bryant. The handball back towards Peter Hughes. And the wingman will score a minor score. Peter has not had a very good day, Peter, on Harry Miller. He's come into the game in patches, but he hasn't had a good game against Harry.
Sturgis again to bring the ball back into play. Badly off the side of the boot. Have to wait there. Pont, yes, reads it well. And there's the hand pass over. Looks like Sturgis is going to have to come out and meet that player. It's a rally, isn't it? Onto the left leg. It's a snap. He looks all right. No, it's across the face of goal. One behind only. But all this stuff is taking up valuable time, and one just can't see South getting out of this one at this stage. Another good kick by Sturgis. Looking, yes, there's a free kick to Smallacombe in front. Prevented from playing on, which is good football by Mullen. Oh, look at this. Shocking kick by Lincoln South, and Poss Davis has pulled in another one. I was going to say he hadn't held any marks in the first half, Gary, but by gee, he's held his marks in the last half. And
he's taken some telling ones in the last half, Peter. The kick forward, over half, Karatsavalis loses possession. Mullins, Karatsavalis, and Karatsavalis will win the free for in the back there. Backwards of half back. They're just playing time out virtually here now. Peter Karatsavalis' kick. He's been one of the better players for South today. In the front, Haynes, sport by Miller. Miller the tap on long. And Clark will receive the free in the back there. Clark quickly on again. Towards half forward. From behind comes Fowler. Through comes Watherson, the good shepherd. Miller, great play from the centre of the pack. The handball to House. House steadies, shoots it forward, and in the goal square is Greg Smart. And should convert from here, Peter.
Yes, well, here comes Greg Smart now, and yes, that's a goal to Smart, and
15 points, Peter.
Yes, 15 points would be too big a margin at this stage. Back at the centre square, Foster and Davis. The bounce doesn't favour either ruckman. There's the big thump, forward to Pont. Handball over to Bryant. He must be sick of kicking the ball. Up it goes. There's Sturgis behind Shrapel. There's the thump away. Shrapel there with strength. Oh, look at that body strength. Oh, gee, he can get around him. And there's a fine kick back. Good spoil from behind by Loxton. Harris can't quite get hold of the ball, and it's rushed through for one behind. Kick in by Sturgis is another fine kick by Sturgis, looking for Foster. Off hands, Miller from behind. Should be able to get around Davis all right, but he's lost his footing and down he goes. He's still in there boxing hard. The ball's been paddled out of bounds on the boundary line, and that's pretty good defence by Poss Davis. Up they go again. Foster and Davis with Haynes over the top as well. There's Miller, the opportunity. Can't quite control the ball. He's still fumbling it. Mowed down from behind. Bryant in there. There's Mullen. He's gone to ground as well. The handball that favours Earl. Earl onto his right leg. Brings it back towards... Oh, good mark by Pont. Going the wrong way. That took a bit of courage. And Grant Power now at centre half back. He's having trouble with Pont as well, as in fact all players have that have been given the job of trying to stop this fine player.
He's had a great day, Peter. About 55, 60 metres out, I guess. He'll give it a good ride from here, right into the goal square. In front, Harris, and she's through, and that's really put the cap on. He's had a fantastic day, Peter. It's one of the best individual efforts that I've seen from a player in any side all year, except possibly on occasions some of the individual efforts of Harry Miller in particular games. From the centre bounce, Foster and Davis. He's played a great game, Big Poss. Taps it on again. Kim Clark has worked hard all day, but Bryant's had the better of him. He wins this free on this occasion. We'll take it from the centre bounce area. The Big Poss can hardly manage a walk, let alone a trot at this stage. The kick from Clark was a very, very tired effort, and Michael Williams wins the resulting free kick from that. The handball over to Rowe. Rowe, under handicap, has played a good game today for South. And once again, John Montgomery's played a fine game back there in defence for Boston today. They've had a pretty tight defence all day, and they've had some real winners back there. The long kick right up to the centre wing area in front. And once again, Mark Pont, a good mark, The kick is on. Peter Hughes has got a paddock to run into. He can please himself. He does here, but he does the right thing. Keeps deep down towards Sharple, and the free kick will go against Sharple for in the back on Sturgis, who's doing a pretty good job back there on Sharple in the last quarter of this game. Sturgis's kick goes wide to the left half-back flank. Foster in front. Down to McLaughlin. The handball over is intercepted by O'Gorman, who's played a pretty useful game for South today. The free kick out wide. In front, Bilney. And there goes the siren. And a fine victory to Boston's in this first semi-final. It's been a fine game, and the score being Boston's 19 goals 25 to South's 17-15.
Yes, well, it was a tremendous game, Gary. I've done my money, but still I've got my money's worth at the Gators. I think it was a tremendous game, and I thought that fitness would favour the particular side that would win the game, and I think, as I said earlier in the broadcast, I think Brenton Simon's tactics of using his interchange players have paid off for Boston's. Plus they had the big guns. They had Bryant at centre and Pont at centre half forward, and South's had a lot of battlers, Gary, but they just didn't have the big guns, the big star players that Boston's had today.
Yeah, right, Peter, yes, agreed. Especially Mark Pont at centre half forward for Boston's. As you said, Ian Bryant, he got on top of Kim Clark in the centre, who was a fantastic footballer and obviously must rate as one of the best footballers in the league. And so all credit to Ian Bryant there. But a fantastic game, and either side that lost today, whether it be Boston's or whether it be South, could have thought themselves a little bit unlucky, but it was one of those games, and someone had to lose out. So hopefully, for me, the best players, to me, I thought Pont obviously will get the best on ground. Ian Bryant, I would have to rate him. Keith Wilson for, young Wilson for Boston's. For South, I would have thought Lenny O'Gorman, I thought he worked well all day, very well all day. I thought Foster played quite well for them, and House in the early part of the game played quite well. Pads Power was in and out of the game. Jamie Loxton was their best defensive player, I would say.
One other factor I thought in the game was South's inaccuracy, although of course both sides finished up with roughly the same amount of proportionate goals to behinds, but I thought South had plenty of opportunity in that first quarter, and at one stage I think their score was 2-9 or something like that. So I think that was probably a facet of the game, or a time in the game where they sort of could have done a lot better.
Yes, agreed, Peter. I couldn't agree with you more. They wasted some early opportunities. They had, I would say, in that first quarter, possibly about 70% of the play, and they missed some easy shots. As I said earlier in the commentary, Peter, one of the unbelievable things about that first half in particular was the kicking. It was very poor. I think guys panicked a little bit. They didn't steady themselves properly, and they reverted back to the old punt kick sort of thing, and they tried the punt kick, and most of the time it was coming off the side of the boot instead of sticking with the drop punt, which is the most effective, as we all know, most effective kick in this day and age, and especially under conditions like this.
Yes, well, going into the game today, both sides...
Max Harvey, there's telephone calls coming in for you, Max.
Both sides were reported to be playing players that were carrying injuries, but it does seem as though Boston's came out in front in this department too. Ian Bryant, for example, was supposed to be under a cloud, but what a crackerjack game he played. But looking at perhaps some of the South players, that Kim Rowe, of course, we all know his ability and his courage and determination, but I think he was favouring his shoulder towards the end. Sturgis seemed to come up all right, although he wasn't his usual sparkling self in the ruck, but did a good job in the last quarter at fullback. But overall, I think the players that were under a cloud, I think Boston's came out in front because their players put in a better game than what these so-called under the cloud players did for South.
We ran out of it, didn't we? Yeah. from them.